Well, the effects of school closures in New Orleans, it's kind of twofold. It really impeded the rebuilding of some of the neighborhoods as we were rebuilding after Katrina. Plus, it has taken away our right as African Americans, a city that's majority African American, to have an elected school board govern the majority of our schools. It has put that into the hands of private nonprofit organizations that are not accountable through our democratic system to the people. And that's problematic.
Okay. And so you're able to, the DOE heard they heard you, what you were saying. A lot of the things happening in New Orleans are happening to a lesser extent in other places. From what you heard from the DOE, how would you evaluate their response?
Well, what I heard from the DOE, especially in terms of the Office of Civil Rights, I'm pleased that they are opening up the complaints that have been filed and opening up investigations for those complaints. I was a little troubled when the DOE spoke about the intent. Because if you step on my foot, it doesn't matter that you didn't intend to step on my foot and hurt me. I'm still hurt nonetheless. And as the Department of Ed goes through and turn around schools, I don't think they're mindful of the fact that they're turning around school buildings, but not the children's academic performance inside of the building. And if that is justification for violating the rights of African Americans, so I hope that they will really give this serious thought as they investigate the complaints and truly look at the effects of what they call school reform on communities of color.
Great. And what are the next steps going to be for you and as one of the leaders of this movement, for the movement itself?
Well, I'm so pleased to join up with people from over 18 different cities as we build an alliance for educational justice to stop these school closures that are dismantling our communities. I'm involved with many different people, many different groups, but to be together with all of these urban activists, people who live in urban centers, the cities that are most affected by school closures, it really means a lot to organize with people who know exactly what I'm going through because they are in cities that are going through the same thing as we are in New Orleans.
So almost everyone that spoke and almost everyone that was there were people of color. And today we live at a time when many people of color are hesitant or refuse to criticize President Obama because he is under attack from the right wing constantly. So do you think that's going to be important to take this movement further, to get people of color to address public education in a more...
Well, we criticize and love. We love our president, but we think that we think that personally he understands that the direction that of the policies of his administration are not what he would want for his own children. We know he understands that. I think that he needs to reevaluate what's going on in the Department of Education, especially with the race to the top, and look at, is this truly a way to give children equal opportunity for a quality education? Race to the top, it's just a race. So in a race, there are winners and there are losers. We have to be careful. What do we do about the children who lose in this race? The cities who don't get their money? What do we do about the communities that are destroyed in this race to the top? So it's not a criticism, it's just that with any business, and since they're treating education like a business, you have to reevaluate what you're doing to see if you're getting the desired effect. And you can't just reduce that to a test score. You know, data is important, but data is not everything. Our communities are more than just data. Our children are not data points. So I think it is time for President Obama to reevaluate what his Department of Education is doing and its effect on our communities.
And last question. So this is coming at a time when there's a spreading teachers test boycott in Seattle, challenging two of the main, so between the school closings and the increased testing, two of the main policies started under Bush, accelerated under Obama. Do you think this might be a turning point?
I think we are at a turning point. because there are people organizing in different ways all over the country. In Seattle, it's around testing. We're organizing around school closures. There are teachers who are organizing around their evaluation system. There are different grassroots groups of people who are organizing around many different facets of what is being called education reform. We are definitely at a critical point because, after all, we're not getting the desired outcome. In New Orleans, 7 years after these reforms have been tried, 7 years after they've had unfettered access to do what they want with the Recovery School District schools, 100% of the direct run Recovery School District schools are D and F schools. Now understand, we're not even adding more schools to that pot. After 7 years, I have higher expectations that the Recovery School District would have lifted those schools up to be all at least C-rated schools. But they're D and F schools, and even 79% of the Recovery School District charter schools are D and F schools. And some of those charter schools started from scratch. They didn't actually take over a building full of children who were low performing. 7 years is 7 years too long. We've got to stop this madness.
Thank you so much. That was great. Appreciate your time.